Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For all those who are new, my name is Nokupiwa Mtembu. I'm a South African, currently living and working in China. This video is long overdue, so I decided let me just do it today because of a lot of questions that I have been getting. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about the process of getting my son in China, basically what I went through, what I did in order to get to live with my son in China. And everything that I'm gonna say is based entirely on my experience. It's everything that I did. Of course, not all situations will be the same, circumstances and situations will differ, but everything that I'm gonna talk about is based on my experience and everything that I did. Just gonna go straight into it. So, before I went home to get my son, I had gotten a job at an international school, a British school that offers all the subjects in English, except Mandarin, of course. All the subjects are taught by expert teachers. I think right now he gets Mandarin from a Chinese teacher and some PE lessons. Yeah, some PE lessons, but everything else is taught to him in English. Okay, so I got a job at the school, and one of the benefits is that your children, or two of your children, get 100% free tuition. But if you have 3 children, then the third one will pay 50%. Okay, so when I decided, okay, when circumstances forced me to take my son to come live with me, so I went home in April because I lost my mom, who was the person that looked after my son. So that's when I made a decision to take him with me. I had already been working at the school for almost a year, and I'd signed 2 years with the school. So I left to South Africa with an intention of coming back with my son, and I did exactly that. So the process is I'm gonna start from the beginning. So the process goes like this. First of all, you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of patience. You will need it because the process can be very frustrating. At least it was for me at the time, because borders had recently opened and a lot of people were applying. So a lot of things were getting delayed and I didn't have time. But I think now it's better. I'm not sure. So first of all, you need to make sure that if you, like me, are a single parent, and you are taking your child without the other parent, so the other parent is not coming with, first you need to make sure that you and the other parent are in a good place. You have communicated this with him or her and have agreed, because you are going to need the other parent throughout the process, from applying for the passport. So when you go to Home Affairs to apply for a passport for a child, both parents need to be there. And so we applied for passports, for my son's passport, because he didn't have it, and it only took 1 week to receive it. And then once you've gotten, maybe do not wait until you have gotten the passport. The first thing that you need to do is get your child's birth certificate authenticated. Get your child's birth certificate notarized and authenticated. I don't know who does what, but I know that the certificate has to go through DIRCO and the Chinese embassy. When I did it, it was a very long process. I almost lost my job, but I got an agent by the name of Ayanda. I think it's Loai Teachers. Her company, I think, is Loai Teachers. She did an amazing job. She basically saved my job. So get your, some people will do this by themselves, go to DIRCO by themselves to do their own submission. Some people will have an agent do it for them, people like myself. So I got an agent to do it for me because I think it's a lot of stress. I don't know. And also it depends where you are in the country. I don't even know where DIRCO is because I've always had my documents done for me by an agent. And of course you pay for my documents to get them authenticated. For my son's birth certificate and my police clearance, I paid, I think it was 3,800 for both the documents. So start with, because that process does take longer, start with getting the child's unabridged birth certificate authenticated. I really recommend you get an agent, a good agent, a highly recommended agent to do it for you. And I highly recommend Ayanda because I got her because she was highly recommended by a lot of people, and people came back and gave good testimonies, and she really came through for me too. Once you have gotten the passport and the birth certificate authenticated, the next step is to go to of course, I almost forgot, you need to let your school know that you are bringing your child so that they can work on preparing the invitation letter. In my case, because I was also redoing my visa, they did a work permit letter for me, but it included his name. It included my son's name. Once you get the unabridged birth certificate authenticated and the passport, the next step is to apply for a visa, for an S1 visa. Okay, so the documents that you are going to need, the documents that you will take with you to the Chinese embassy. So I'm gonna read down so that, because I don't want to forget anything, I've written down notes of all the documents that you are going to need to get an S1 visa for your child. Okay, when I applied, you had to, I'm not sure if it's still, because I've applied twice for a visa. The first time I didn't have to do an online application. I just went to the embassy and I did the application there. I filled in the form there. Because the policies have changed now, I'm not sure if it's gone back to just walking in the embassy and filling in the form there, or if you still have to, like how I did it the second time, go to the Chinese embassy website and apply online, fill in an online application form, and then after make sure that you fill in all the information, print it out in color, and then make an appointment for the date that you will go to apply for a visa. So what I did an online application, then I downloaded the form, then I booked an appointment to go physically there. So with the application form, the other documents that you need are, you will need an original passport of the child, a copy of the passport, a copy of the father's identity document, or a mother, whoever is not traveling with the child, you still need their copies, as well as the copy of your passports. Okay, color copies. And then you will also need the passport, the child's passport should be within at least 6 months of validity. You will also need to take an authenticated unabridged birth certificate. So after the certificate has come back from the authentication from the Chinese embassy, you take the certificate together with the documents that are attached with it. You take everything to the Chinese embassy. You will also need an affidavit from the other parent, the parent that is not traveling with their child. Affidavit just declaring that they know that you are taking the child with you, and you will also need a notarized parental letter of concern. This is done at Home Affairs. So once you know the date, because the date of departure needs to appear in that letter. Once you know the date, then you go to Home Affairs with the other parent and you prepare that letter, do that letter of concern. If you go to the website will say that an affidavit or the letter of concern, but when you go to the embassy they ask for both. So I suggest that you do both. And for the affidavit and the letter of concern, make sure that you do 2 copies of those documents, because you will need them as you continue the process. Or the embassy is not going to return those 2 documents, but you will need them when you travel at the airport. So you must have 2 copies of those. And then lastly, you will need an invitation letter or a work permit letter. A work permit letter is going to be done by the school that you are going to, and it's going to contain your name and the name of your child. So you need to have all those documents with you. Let me just go through them again. It's a copy of the passport. The passport must be within at least 3 months of remaining validity. An original copy of the unabridged authenticated birth certificate, an affidavit from the parent, an affidavit and the letter of concern from the parent who's not traveling with the child, and an invitation letter. I think I mentioned that you also need to take an original copy of the passport. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. So I paid 1,250 for my child's visa. Once you've done the visa application, while waiting for it usually takes 1 week. So while waiting for it, then you can start collecting the documents from the school. So the schools will have different requirements depending on what your school is going to need to accept your child. In my case, what was required was my child, because my child in South Africa, my child was doing grade 3. He was doing grade 3. He didn't finish the year. But because of his age, when we got to China, he was accepted into year 5. Year 5 is equivalent to grade 4. So it's just a British system of their grades. We go by grades, grade 1, grade 2, they go by year 1, year 2, year 3. And year 5 is equivalent to grade 4. So my son was doing grade 3. He would have finished school in November in South Africa, but he didn't. He stopped going to school in South Africa in August. Then in September, he started online at his new school in China in grade 4, because the academic year starts in September. And he was accepted into grade 4, year 5. What was required was his reports from grade 2, all terms, and his reports, a letter of motivation, a motivation letter from his school, basically just talking about what kind of a student he is, any extracurricular activities that he participated in, and all that, just good things about how well behaved and how pleasant of a child he is. You know, they kind of want to know what they are dealing with, I think, what they will be dealing with, rather. Yeah, what else have I left behind? I think I've covered basically everything with the documents that you will need for the visa application, and what you will need from the school. Because it was still COVID times with COVID restrictions and COVID rules, at the Chinese embassy, I'm sorry I left this out, we had to do COVID tests and get COVID test certificates. I mean, we had to do COVID tests but I'm not sure if you still need to do those now, because well, the policies have changed. So when you leave now with the child at immigration, at the airport immigration, when you leave South Africa, this is what I didn't have with me. I didn't have the father's copy of ID, and it was needed, it was required. They actually set me aside because I didn't have that. So you must have the copy of the father's ID together with an affidavit and that letter of consent. You must have those things with you. Make sure that the dates are correct also at immigration. Of course, they will need those things. And what else will you need? I think I've covered everything, guys. I think I've covered everything. Because this video was basically about what you need, the formalities, just the formalities of getting a visa and going to the school or getting accepted by the school. So I don't want it to be a very long video. I'm going to leave it here for now. Then in my next video, I'm gonna talk about what it's like for an African child studying in China, living in China, the challenges that we've gone through, how we've overcome, what it has been like for him and what it has been like for me, being a single parent in China. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about all those things. If there's anything that I've left out or anything that I've said, I haven't made videos in a long time, so I'm still rusty. So if there's anything that I said which was not clear, I'm happy to clarify in the comment section, or if you still have questions, please drop them down in the comment section below. I will leave it here for now. You guys enjoy the rest of your whatever it is that you're doing. Goodbye. 再见